So just welcome.
Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here talking about New Earth creation and higher source connection. My guest today is Yukia Sandara. She is a multidimensional person who works with the higher realms to bring in new information. And she has actually developed something that is helping families ascend. And this is fun for all of us. We're going to learn all about this new game as we welcome Yukia back to Quantum Conversations. Welcome, Yukia. So good to see you again.
It's great to be back, and especially on this day, where we are celebrating love all over the planet, and sharing together. So I would like to just do a little activation, so we synchronize the energies, is also sending the waves of harmony and balance and peace throughout our planet. May we share this space, this sacred space, and have fun in doing so, and bringing in the transformation necessary that we are all walking hand in hand to transform and to effect. So I will just do an opening, a little song, to bring in the energies.
Beautiful.
Walakato sasaruta maratayul hei kualaleyam. Samneli Kwaruta Hilaya Haish Heiman Migia Hrui Saraduli Saramarane Hamar Mayalai Hishmai Chaichur Harmaru Oturu. Thank you, everyone. And it's great to be back.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, this is Dia del Amor, Day of Love, and we are feeling it. It's wonderful because it's, again, something that's celebrated all around the world. And that really is spectacular. Yes. So
no, I cannot. You were frozen.
Am I frozen? Because, all right, you were frozen. We're both free.
We both freezing.
Okay. Well, let's say it's there for a reason. Yeah, it's happening for a reason. Okay.
Yes.
Well, welcome everyone to this Day of Love, Dia del Amor. It is so beautiful that our hearts are wide open. And I like to say that every day is Dia del Amor. Every day is Christmas. Every day is your birthday. If we can truly feel into the energies of that, that lifts us up. As long as there's no other distortions there or distractions mentally from that. Well, we are here in today's show to talk with this beautiful being who has been spending her recent time creating something brand new for our planet. So Yukia, you have Sacred Worlds game. This is a new game. You're very excited to bring it forth. We love it because it's totally for New Earth. It's for families, all generations. And you were inspired to bring this forward. Share that story with us, please.
Yeah. So I was inspired to share, to bring this forward, and my biggest inspiration was twofold. One, my own upbringing, and the fact that during my own upbringing, I was free to step into the world of imagination and bring forth, the messages from that world without being shut down, within the family unit. So and every child, every friend would come through to the house and join us because they felt comfortable. They felt there was love, there was acceptance, there was surrender for who we really are. Okay, so the idea had been sort of inculcated, so already birthed by then. But it was during the pandemic that I was homeschooling my grandchildren, especially my grandchild Raphael, who has remembrance of other worlds and who spoke the language of the heart, the language of light. Who actually inspired me to bring forth a tool that acts as a bridge, for parents, for teachers, for grandparents, to understand these new children that are coming encoded in a very different way, and that also to bring in their own remembrance of their own childhood, where they saw those visions, they stepped into that world, but they were shut down, or it was not permissible, and therefore they closed it into the big forgetting, so it's to unlock the remembrance codes that are within our DNA. And the game does that, because it is not a competitive game. It's a game that takes us through different realms. So it's a board game to be played physically with the parents, with the teachers, with other children, with the grandparents. And the game takes you through the cosmos, which I've called the Nanakia, which is our big constellation, through the waters, which is Tortuga, and through the earth, which is Avalon. And then it blends, all the realms blend in this portal, which is the portal that we've come in as golden children, and we lost, with amnesia, we lost the remembrance of who we really were, and also the remembrance of those gifts and those skills that we had across timelines. And so the game takes place in around in an anti-clockwise, from the portal that we arrive through the different realms. And it's through adventure and through mystical characters. There's 24 mystical characters, and through mystical tools that everyone plays the adventure, steps into the story, and listens to the message of the adventure, and deciphers how they're going to sort it out. So nothing is given, and it's really about self-discovery. So the principle of the golden child, the child that's cherished, a golden child hungry for the opportunity to blossom into the fulfillments of their being, is our story, of every one of us, not only of the new children, but of all our story. So we want to help them on the path of self-discovery. So a path that engages them right where they are. Something fun, something magical, something in the realm of imagination, where they step into their inner child, and they spontaneously tap into into the nature spirit world, into Pachamama, into the creator, which is Pachatata here in Peru, and the fairy world, the dragon world, and all the other interplanetary world, and the remembrance of those realms. The game assists parents and children and educators to get to know each other at that level, helping them to know themselves, helping them to know, to tap into the gifts that they've forgotten, and uncover them together. So it's also a game of partnerships and collaboration, because every time you decipher a solution for one of the adventure using a character and a tool, you get a remembrance card, and that activates some sort of gift, some sort of talent within you. But when you finish your 3 rounds, you are the first player to finish the 3 rounds. You are in a position to help other players, so they can borrow your tools, they can borrow your characters, and you can be assisted. The main characters is Nanakia, which is myself, Nanakia. That's the name that my grandchild gave me when he was 1 year and a half. And it actually means, the white light, and it's in Polynesian, terms, it is the white one, the white one. And he tapped into the energy because he could read the energy when he was very little already. And it's about the golden child, the main character. The golden child's name is Raha, the sun, and it's a caricature of Raphael, of my child, my grandchild. So at the heart of the game is the story of the golden child who was birthed from a star with unique abilities, lost memory of those talents, and once earthbound. And this child's quest to remembrance, to recover the skill set, and to recover the remembrance of those realms on earth, in the water, in the cosmos, and bringing tools and bringing glyphs, because the game has lots of glyphs, because, I've been, activating glyphs and design, language of light designs for a long time. So the game is a decoding. The story is decoded from some of those glyphs also. And it's as the child progresses in his journey with totem animals, natural spirits, cosmo characters, they become part of the child's own voice, and imagination, and helping him to make decisions about the adventures, how he's going to be sorting out the adventures, and how the parents equally are going to be sorting out those adventures. And they can use sound, storytelling, they can use out the adventure, that they step into. So the play begins when each player chooses a character card, and it's at random. Okay, so then a home base is one of the realms. So let's say the player chooses a character from the water realm. So it's a tool. It's also a random card, and then they choose the adventure, where the adventure is going to take place. All right, and then they throw the dice, and let's say the adventure is in the water. but they throw the dice and they get into the cosmos. So they have to throw the dice again, you know, in order to get to the where they're going to play the adventure. So there's a movement anti-clockwise from the central portal, which blends all worlds. All right, and they go around the board, and every time it's a different experience. The random combinations of the character tools, the adventure of an aspect of themselves through the nature spirits, through the dragon, through the Pleiadian, through Akina, the Pleiadian star being, through the sun elders, through the mermaids, through the merman, through the water spirits, through the tree spirits. Every single character has qualities, and as remembrance within ourselves, you know, because we've been all those things. So, you know, so you might travel to the underwater crystal city and interact with mermaids. We explore colorful gardens and beautiful waterfalls, or be beamed into the cosmos and have to fulfill a cosmic adventure of bringing the resources together to that particular planet. And are you going to be sorting that out? You know, what are you going to do, and what solutions are you going to share? You know, through sound, through imagination, through storytelling. You know, to actually bring the people together in that particular planet. You know, to accomplish that solution. So as children become more familiar with the game through repeated play, they open their hearts, and parents open their hearts, and their emotional intelligence. So each game helps to build skills of critical thinking, of decision making, of cooperation, and of encouragement. And also it gives you, as the parent and the child, the teacher and the child, the grandparent, the freedom to express yourself freely, you know, by tapping into the world of ideas. And I mean, I remember a story that Raphael used to, you know, come up very, you know, he comes up with great stories, you know, of remembrance, that he lives in the world of ideas, you know, and he is the idea. And that we mustn't forget that, because it's the idea that gives us the key to the unseen worlds, you know. And so, you know, you tap into that energy and you open the door of your enchantment garden, and you see yourself as a child, you know, and you place yourself in that situation, you know, and you find the solutions from that heartwarming, gifted golden child who remembers, who can remember and can express freely everything they really want with each other, either by storytelling or by a sound, or by choosing a glyph, you know, that opens the gateway of the underground water city, where the dragon is the gatekeeper, you know. So, you know, he can open that gate, but how is he going to open that gate? So what are you going to do to show the purity of your heart? Because it's one of the requirements on that particular adventure, to open the gate. So you can tell a story. What I've found, because we've tested the game, what I found is that both parents and children find themselves sharing stories of remembrance of their own childhood that they've never been spoken before in the family. You know, I got a test case. There were two the father, mother, and a child. She was 11, and the parents, the mother started sharing a story, about when she was very young, and she used to have visions of this great sphere, the sphere that was in a room. She saw the sphere, this luminous spheres, and every night she would go to sleep and she'd see the spheres, and she was supposed to collect something from the sphere, and she never managed to collect it. She would wake up, like, in a perspiring, but she never told her mother. She never told her father, because she knew that they would not believe her. Okay. And she lived with this remembrance for a long time. And she shared for the first time with her child, through storytelling, in order to show the purity of her heart and give the key to the dragon keeper who opened the stargate to the underwater city. And the response of the child was very interesting. He said, "Oh, mother, you've never shared stories with me. You've read stories to me, but I never thought that you could share stories. I never thought that I could freely share my stories, with you." So children have a very vivid imagination and spontaneity. They get into the world of imagining and storytelling, and even making a sound to open a gate very easily. It doesn't happen the same with parents, straight away. But as the game progresses and you go into another adventure, and and you choose another character, and another tool, because the tools are mystical tools. You get a replicator, you get a watch, for example, that is an emerald watch, and the watch slows time and speeds up time, and it can open gateways. So you can use that as a tool. So you need to really step into that world. How are you going to be finding the solutions, making the decisions on those adventures, using these magical tools and the qualities of these magical characters that are coming in, with ideas, with qualities, reminding you of, things that you've long at cell memory level have forgotten.
Wow.
So it's, and then the game doesn't really end. And when you collect all the three remembrances. So if you finish before, you collaborate with others, or you assist others. So it's to teach people, parents and children, to work in partnership, at the same level, to break down the walls of hierarchy. I am the one that teaches you, that tells you, so there's lots of lessons coming from the children to the parents, lots of learnings coming from the parents to the children, and from the teachers, and from playing with other children's too. But when everybody finishes the 3 rounds, they take a random card, which is a partner with nature card, because the game is very much about the nature cycles, also the nature elements of fire, earth, water, ether, so the game does not end until you do an activity in nature together. So you then do, you might be, the card that you take might say, do a fire ceremony, you can do it inside or outside, because of course people live in apartments or in houses, not everybody lives in houses that they can go into the garden and do a fire circle, in the garden, and the adventure speaks about the fire circle and how the fire circle is sort of set up. And then in the instructions, we have a guideline for parents, teachers, that gives us more information about how to do these activities, So altogether, they do the activity. They take photos if they want. They can do a video if they want. And they can upload in the website, because it's going to be linked to a website, should they wish to upload, because they might not want to go into the digital and upload, lots of children are very excited about taking photos of themselves, as and uploading videos about and speaking about their experience, all together. It might be a partner with nature, where they hug the trees, where they organize an activity of planting something, or so it's all encompassing, and then there's another step, which is if because this game is also to be licensed in schools, and so in the school setup, the partner with nature would be slightly different, where the children, we have 6 organizations that will be listed for non-profit, where forestry, anything that in the planet is any species that are being extinguished, anything that is not being respected, so 5 organizations, and they choose to raise funds in the school for one of those organizations and send it to them and donate it to them. So in a school setup, it's slightly different than in a setup where you have a family playing. They can donate too, so the children can choose themselves. One of those organizations for the parents to be volunteers in one of the organizations to plant trees, for example, around the geographical area. Yeah, so it's got all these components,
Wow, I am so impressed. Thank you. It is a multi-dimensional game, and on so many levels we can get this now. It is the opposite of all the games that we've ever had or known. I mean, it's reminiscent of the newer games with cards that children play, but this transcends that, because it's not competition, it's collaboration, it's cooperation, it's open hearts, it's that memory of before it gets shut down, it supports that memory, like your grandson, Raphael, remembered that he was from other worlds.
Yes.
And so when he plays the game, it's very easy for him to come and say, and many children do speak light language. It's called imaginary friends and things. So you're keeping that very real, that multidimensionalness very real, instead of shutting it out like schools do. And I also love it because schools, they are looking for fundraising ideas. And in typical schools, you'll see maybe your pizza parlor down the street will do a night of pizza sales, donations of people coming in to purchase pizza goes to the school. But this is even more progressive, because it's about awareness and expanding consciousness and really protecting the wisdom that one holds within. So I like that.
Yes, and they get to fundraise, for the organization that they want, that they choose, and it's a fun exercise, and So I'm very excited about, launching it eventually, into the schools also, and not just launching it through, as a board game to parent, where it's purchased through Amazon or through direct marketing into the big game stores, but the school element for me, it's very close to my heart, because one of the frustrations that I saw Raphael with was with his homework that he had to do, and he had to write this word, I don't know, a page of this word, and he kept on saying, this does not make sense to me. Why do I have to write the same word for the whole page? And I already know how to write it. I've written 3 times. None of this really makes sense. And then he was given another task, was to the teacher, I think, sent a UFO, for them to do the drawing. And he said, I don't need any UFOs to do the drawing. I'm going to do my own. I'm not going to copy this one. I'm going to do my own. And I'm going to send it through. And then the number of tasks that this child had to accomplish, every single day. It was only 5.5. It was like complete saturation, complete, and also things that really did not click, did not had any meaning. It kept on saying he's not adding any meaning to his existence, so it was like, we've got to do something. Something has to be done. So why don't we learn through game playing? We learn to game playing. We learn how to interact. We learn about our children's skill sets and gifts and challenges. Because what I'm finding, and these spirited children, which they call spirited children, but now they have a label. They also have a label of sin, which is, special education needs. Yeah, because if your child brings in information that is not within the normal parameters of your curriculum, okay, or speaks of conversations with the crystals, conversations with the qualities of the crystals, bringing in the crystals into the energy of the body. There's a presentation, which this was a fact, presentation in front of the class with the crystals, is strange. It's strange. He was lucky that, he has a teacher that he had a teacher that was a spirited teacher, in many ways, who allowed him to do the presentation. But after class, bullied him afterwards, made fun of him, not really bullied him, but it was a way which the game also addresses. So we have adventures that address bullying and how you can overcome it, which is, you don't understand. It's ignorance. It's ignorance. And he put it very nicely, because he came back home and he said, he did the presentation. After class loved it. After class didn't, and thought he was cuckoo. The teacher really supported him. And he said, he was a bit sad, but he said, it's because they don't know, Nana. They don't know. They don't know about the crystals, that they have names, they have qualities. So next time I'm doing something like this, I'm going to do it only with those children that are interested.
What an advanced soul. And
it was like, it's like, because not all children are not all adults are at the same level of frequency. Not all children are, but maybe those children were when they were young. But because they were shut down, they now they're now in that frequency of this is crazy, this is not acceptable, this is strange. You see, this type of talk of Raphael, is not what we are used to at home, so the game opens up all these. It's like a treasure box that's been closed and now it's opened. So it opens up, all these all the Eden and all those things that were not good, it eliminates, breaks the barriers of the good and bad, okay, opens the channels of freedom of expression, both for parents, because parents feel relieved also with it, parents and children, for teachers, and for teachers and in the education system. It's going to be very interesting because they will be able to see through game playing what skills this child's got, what gifts the child's got, and they can then customize the curriculums accordingly to that, because instead of just blankly have, curriculums that do not address the needs of the needs of the child, and the self-discovery of the child, who he really is in his essence, needs to be encouraged. The same thing as for us, the parents, needs to be encouraged. There was another episode that I want to share because this also happens, and I transformed that into an adventure because it was an episode with Raphael also, and that was he went to a Halloween fair, and he went into this tunnel with friends of his. And he was the only one very scared of everything, And he came back home. Everybody was very excited about this episode, but he wasn't. And he's got stars in his ceiling because he comes from the stars. So he has to have the stars in his ceiling. And he started feeling that he started seeing shadows in the ceiling, and also he started feeling that he was being pushed by shadows. So he couldn't sleep. He couldn't sleep for 1, 2, 3 nights. He'd run to his parents' room, couldn't sleep. And then my daughter, I wasn't there, but my daughter contacted me and said, what can we do? Because this, he's not able to sleep. And I spoke to him and to her and said, remember when Nana was there, we did the sage ceremony because he had an episode in his room where things were moving. He was moving, and he says there's something here that needs to be cleared. And we did a sage clearance, and I did like an anti-clockwise dance, like a little where we sounded together. And then we did the house around. So I said to my daughter, he's already done that. So do that. Let's encourage him to do that in his room, and encourage him that, to connect with the shadows, because we can make peace with the shadows, and he loved that. He really loved that. It's sort of improved, but then he decided to find the solution. And his solution was to get a canvas, because he's very good in painting and creating, that's his skill set, is one of his skill sets. And he drew a big dragon, a red fire dragon, with green and red, and it took him 2-3 days to do this. And every night he would sleep better as he was drawing the dragon. And then finally he completed his art. He took a photo, he sent it to me, and with a message. And the message was, Nana, Now I've made peace with the shadows, and it was through my dragon, my fire dragon, because he loves dragons. My fire dragon burnt everything that was not needed, and I've made now peace with the shadows. We can live together. I'm now sleeping. Yes.
Wow.
So, that was his solution, but we can have many solutions to overcome that. So what would be the solution, for that adventure? And of course, it's written in a different way, not the way I'm sharing. So, it's stepping into, but he is free to speak about these things, So
Yes.
there's great appreciation and gratitude that he has on a daily basis for his parents, for being able to communicate and to have their support, in these tools. And the same way as I had the support of my parents, because some of the adventures are for adventures that happened to me or that I have taught through my dragon energy webinars, through the Lions webinars, through all the aspects of the self, either my Pleiadian aspect or my star, my sun elders aspect, which was a group of people that when I was very young accompanied me all the time. So all the characters were designed from aspects that were already in the knowing, but not only in my knowing. All these mythological aspects are in the knowing. The crystal beings, it's 24 characters. It's a wide range of characters that the game's got, the threads of light, the codes of life, and his gift. He brings the gift of creation, gives creation codes, and brings the sun to rejuvenate, to give us vital energy, and even to activate ourselves. And that, sun gazing is beautiful, because it's encouraged, and there's no breaking the notion and the barrier that the sun is not good for you, and the sun, you've got, so that's with the sun. If it's with Meru, which is the unicorn, he brings the endurance, courage, but he also brings the it's also highlighted that the unicorns are not well understood sometimes, and therefore sometimes they disappear, from the veil, beyond the veil, and they stop communicating. And so the message from the Meru is, when you don't understand or feel understood, remember your courage, your resilience, and remember your ability to telepathize. You can telepathize. You have the ability to see from the heart. So you can see through the heart of anything, any being, and any experience. So the characters have the qualities, but then they also at the end give a message, of encouragement, so that they remember. Then we have the three spirits, who bring the large libraries of remembrance and history of our planet, and how by embracing them, if you're feeling sad, your energy moves, you can also open the gateways to the nature spirits to find out what are they communicating. And that's also a practice that myself and Raphael did in the forest in England. We used to go for our walks, and we would, and he said, today, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to open portals today, and because he was already speaking about the portals. So, and I said, do you want me to, brief you how to open a portal? He said, no, He doesn't need any briefing. So he gets to the tree, he chooses the tree, and he does a prayer to open the channels of the tree so that so that the portal can open. But he says that he is here with a pure heart and loving kindness. He opens that way. And he communicates, and then he hugs the tree and he stays there. So one of the characters is, of course, the three spirits. Then we have the dolphins. We have Archangel Michael, also. So we have the whales, and each one bring different qualities, different remembrance pearls, because all these, we have the elves. He loves the elves because there's a very big component of him that is the cosmic elf. That's the story that he narrated when he was very young. The world that it comes from is a cosmic elf world, but it's in Vega, it's in the vegan constellation, and he had a special language also, and these beings communicated from the solar plexus. They didn't communicate from anywhere else. You send used to say, no, they send it's like a sun. They send the sun from the solar plexus to the other person, and then you get all the information. And they can swim underwater, and they can be above water. So all these aspects of remembrance, that we all have, but some of us unspoken because we didn't have anyone to share, or we were fearful of sharing them, with our, so this breaks that not only for the child, that's playing, but for the parents. That's what I've seen. Great conversations after the game at the lunch table about this unseen world that is all connected. And so the other message of the game is that we are not separate of any of these three realms. We blend in the portal. We are the realms. There's no separation. The separation is just created by us. Sometimes we create that. So that is the, the adventures are all tailor-made to address emotional states also of children, that are not able to express themselves, the bullying and the lack of respect for the extraordinary, and for those that are different and that are labeled special needs children or dyslexic, and I'm not saying like he's highly dyslexic, for example, Raphael, and yes, he doesn't respond to education or to teachings like other children, but there are many in the class that are also like that, so there are many of these children, but these children have other gifts, to share, like, if you are labeled a refined autistic, because if you are able to tap in, to converse, to speak, he likes to speak, for example. So the other children that are labeled dyslexic, and he's very artistic, and he communicates with the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom and all that. So those are other qualities that we need to respect. But do we have a system? My question is, do we have a system that respects that can make that bridge for these children to thrive?
That's why we love this so much, because listening to you speak and share the stories and the experiences that you've gone through, that your grandchild's gone through. This is indicative of the new children that are coming on our planet. Diamond children, rainbow children, and respecting their needs, respecting their wisdom within. And I see the world where it is different. Can you see 20, 30 years in the future when more and more children become adults, become working professionals, become leaders in this way, if we're still going to have leadership in the same way? This is part of the evolution. This is a gift from the pandemic. This is the gift for you to bring forward something that supports children in this way. It really is remarkable. I think this is when you were sharing about the schools, I was thinking that the Waldorf schools, preschools would love this sort of thing. So good luck with all.
In our list, we have the alternative schools first. That's what we're going to be addressing first.
Good. Okay.
And then we'll go mainstream. But very interesting. It depends on the continents and it depends on the countries. I was interviewed by the Argentinian network, La Nación, which is a big magazine in the whole South America, and it's mainstream. So the advertising agency that got me the interview said, we need to go mainstream. And I said, yes, but do you think that mainstream is ready to receive this information? And they said, yes. And, we did the interview, it circulated all over South America. So there was South America. I'm not saying that this is a selected space. I'm just saying that there is more opening now, maybe more readiness for something like that from the mainstream. And in certain continents, because of the amount of shamans, available, because of the practices that are, these are practices that they, the normal population still do implement in their lives, so who's to say that maybe mainstream in some continents is ready for it also? But we're going to start with the alternative schools.
Very good.
That's what we have to start somewhere. So we start with the alternative schools, and making those agreements, and I'm sure they'll be very excited about it. And it's just a whole new way that every being from, it's really every being that from the moment that you are born to the moment you die, you have your genius, you have your wisdom, it's inbred, it's a gift. But the system doesn't have an encouraging way of recognizing that, because there's lots of programming and conditioning, as we all know, which is all falling down, it's all breaking down. Yes, and the other thing for the game was to bring people together, because the children are isolated in their own tablets. They've got their tablets, their phones, they are isolated in that, and so the parents relaxing while they're doing that. But this is creating a huge separation, so it's not encouraging partnerships and, people where they learn tools to be together, to think together, to value and respect each other. And it's also an entry point, for them to commune with nature and to respect the elements of nature, through the earth, the water, the cosmos, and the magic in their lives, the magic. because it is not just spirit tapping into that imagination. It's also tapping into the body, because lots of the adventures, they have to feel into the body. They have to put their hand on their heart and their hand on their solar plexus, and they have to do breathing, and it's with the body. What are they feeling will be the way forward to sort out this adventure. They can make a sound to help, they can sing a song, and then, take the next step. So they have to feel, what is my body saying to me? How am I going to be, is my body rejecting this? Is my body opening to this? And what is my entry point to then use my critical thinking, to actually open those magic doors to the solutions of these adventures, and to think broadly, and to be able to do it with your father, with your mother, and with your teacher, and with your other kids. It's like, yes, it's very, I'm very inspired, of course, as the founder, and I, in the creation of the game, I had, the privilege and the gift of having people also assisting in the development of the game and giving direction, some very good friends of mine. So, it's a team effort. It's a team effort. And we have a beautiful team, also in the project itself, because this project is not just about the game. It's about the game now. So there's a board game and there's an online game. The online game, which is to be released at the Kickstarter, which would be April and May. We're making a special offer of a pre-release. But we have to wait for the Kickstarter in order to go for production of the board game, because I'm looking for quite a lot of funding for that, and although I was very lucky and gifted to have received funding, also quite quickly, because this was also meant to be, and it was very strange that I tried to get funding in Portugal, couldn't get anything. But as I arrived in this land where I was told, go there to design the game and to ground the energy with the apos, with the energy of the apos, and that's the land that you're going to be putting it into action. Because in Portugal, I was able to conceive and to prophetize the game, let's say, but not to put it into action. And it was that in 2021 of November, that I found the investor. But it's not that the investor is here. No, it's I needed to be here, grounding the energy, so that I could then put it out again and then find someone that was interested in funding the spot, which was all the design. We finished everything. We've got the prototype. We are now testing in the next 3 weeks in different places, with different groups.
Excellent.
So we completed it. But it had to be here in this land,
Yes, in the land of Peru.
Yeah, Peru. Because it's also a land close to my heart. As you know, I've been coming here since 2004. But you need to descend all your aspects of your higher versions in order to descend in physical reality, and anchor it and embody that, in order for you to then bring in the new transformations, the new assignments, the new projects that our world needs, So that's the message that I got, the great, the teachings that, I've been running for a while now, is the descending that. But this was the test run for me, let's do it. This is now experimental. Can you do it?
I mean, I love it. It's so beautiful because you are a beautiful example of taking action on the inspiration that we get. You are building new earth solutions and you're going for it. And that is inspiring to others. And it's also helping to change our world in a marvelous way, in an educational way, in a supportive way for the new children so that they feel supported. And again, when we look into the future, this is remarkable. This is world changing. So I just say kudos to you. Let's put the call out there for everyone, for those who are resonating with this in their hearts, for those who have connections in the educational field, get in contact with Yukia. If you feel like supporting this project, get in contact with Yukia. What's your website for this, Yukia?
Sacredworlds.com.
Sacredworlds.com. Beautiful. And we have a few more minutes. So tell us about the special offer. You said that this is launching in April and May, and this introduction offer. So it's a special offer for the digital version, the online version.
The special offer, the online version is the one that's nearly ready, and the funding is not a real challenge, at this stage, because the investor is a software developer, so he's not just an investor that gives money. He's been in on the project. It's been an angel, absolutely, boots on the ground, so pre the Kickstarter, which will be in April, May, we have a pre-release of 44 USD a year for the online game. So you can only have the game at the Kickstarter, but if you purchase now, you get at 44 instead of 99. All right, and then the board game, it depends how quickly the funding arrives, because it's ready. But we need to go I feel that we need to go for the Kickstarter to get the rest of the funding for the production, But again, if there is contacts out there, if there is interests, we are open to engage and connect. Yes.
Beautiful. It is a new world venture. And for those who are feeling the heart in this game and the way that it's shaping our world, you're invited to check out that game. The special offer is here in the description box, wherever you're watching or listening to this video. And again, go ahead and contact Yukia if you've got ideas or you'd like to collaborate or share or support in any way. Sacredworlds.com. Thank you, Yukia. And this has been wonderful. I am so impressed by your gumption, your wherewithal to get this done, your bandwidth to make this happen. And I'll say one more time, it is an inspiration to others because we got this. Our world has this when we step up in this way. And it's heart-based. And the fact that you're teaching kids to feel into their body, wow, what a leg up, what a head start your grandchild has and your daughter has with a mom, grandmother like you. Nana Kia.
Nana Kia. Thank you so much for providing this platform. I always like to come here, and I have, for the last year and a half, I've been completely tied up.
Creation.
There is other products related to the Sacred Worlds that I'm now going to start creating, because this is just one, but then we've got the books for the children and the oracle cards, so it's very exciting because it doesn't end here. We're building on different things, so I'm very excited to be grounded and able to deliver the, new earth solutions, basically, because this is what we're here to do, but not everybody is to do the same thing. We're here to share a pool of solutions in different fields.
Well, thank you for the solutions and the new earth foundations that you are creating. It really is beautiful and wonderful. And we look forward to supporting you and your work and your teachings. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Yukia.
Thank you, love.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, have a beautiful day, and
thank you so much.
We will see you next time. Namaste.
Yeah, see you next time. Namaste, love.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.